For every negative video that I do, I also have positive things that I can say and offer to you as well. The people who watch this channel, the people who watch my videos and understand what I'm about and what I'm trying to teach and tell you people about. So this particular video is about why black schools are dangerous to them. And you know who I mean when I say them. Here you have a picture of some beautiful children right here. The thing that we need to do, because as I said, we don't talk about children enough. We talk about more what's happening to us. We need to understand that what is happening to us can ultimately happen to the children as well if we do not change what is going on in this system or try to do things differently. Because if we don't do anything differently, it'll be an endless cycle that will continuously just repeat itself over and over again. You need to understand that. So with these children, you need to teach them I would say like this, as opposed to going to a school that is multicultural. I mean, if you want to do that, that's great because they get to learn about other cultures. But you can have a majority black school where you teach your children about their history, about loving themselves for being black and not being, ashamed of who they are. And you can also teach them about other cultures. You can read them books about other cultures, Japan, Germany, China, India, all other cultures. You can teach them that. They can learn this in school and they can also learn it from you, because the number one teacher for a child is the parent, the mother and the father. Because even when they go to school, the people that they learn from the most and that they emulate the most are going to be people like you, because you gave birth to them. So you have to set the example, okay? A lot of people talk about homeschooling their children rather than letting these children go to these schools, because we see that most of these black children that go to these schools these days are being victimized by their teachers. It wasn't like that when I was a kid. It wasn't like that when you were a kid, I'm sure, if you're in the same age range as me, because I'm 39 now. I didn't experience that when I was in school. I went to a multicultural school, and I didn't have any teachers that acted the way that they act now. Even if I did have any teachers that felt that way, I damn sure never knew about it, because I never really experienced racism to the extent that most of these children are experiencing it now, whether it be from their peers, and I use that term loosely, I should say, in this case, their classmates, and most times, their teacher. How many times have we seen stories about teachers doing this and doing that to black children? We just had a story that I reported over a month ago about a teacher that stepped on the backs of these children to teach them what slavery is about. That is not how you teach a child about slavery. And the one thing that I noticed when I was a kid, because I was naive and didn't realize this until I got older, because I started doing research now, I want to know about my past and my people and stuff like that, is I thought that's all that most of black people were slaves. They didn't really teach us that black people made such inventions as, I'm not going to say peanut butter, like open heart surgery and, inventions like closed circuit television and the heater. They didn't tell us about stuff like that, or the refrigerator, okay? They didn't tell us stuff about that. You have to research this stuff. This is why it's very important, and very important to you and your children, if you're going to have children, if you don't have them already, to teach your child about their history as a black person, as a melanated person, okay? Teach them that they are the true Americans, okay, that they're the indigenous people. If you want to teach them that they're Hebrew Israelites, you have that choice to do that as well. I don't believe in that, but if you want to do that, then that's fine. But this is why it is also a danger to those people who can't stand us. Because once your child at an early age learns who they are, they take more pride in themselves. And they will not be, they will not take as much shit as we do. And I'm not saying me and you who will watch this video, if you're someone who believes like me, not in this bullshit and stand up for yourself. Yeah, but there's a big majority of black people that just sweep stuff under the rug and take all kind of shit, keep on getting abused, and come back for more instead of fighting for their rights and stand up to the people who are giving them the most nonsense, okay? When you have a child that starts out early like that, they're going to have that warrior spirit like Killmonger had in, the Black Panther movie. They're going to become a warrior. They're going to want to stand up for the people. They're going to take more pride in their history. They're not going to be ashamed of themselves. They're not going to let anybody give them shit and don't give them shit back. So when you start these kids off this way, that is a dangerous thing to our enemies, because you are already putting this child on the path of loving themselves enough that they're never going to be ashamed or want to be a coon or have more love for them than they have for their own self or their own people first. And that is a true danger to the enemy. Trust me on that. We also have to teach young girls that they should never be ashamed of their hair. They should be proud of the hair that they have, because the hair that they have makes them unique. Just as this says right here, teach them the science and power of their crowns. They're not just talking about the crown of a black woman. They're talking about their hair, because your hair is your crown, first and foremost. So black children, especially black females, should not be ashamed of having their natural hair, having their hair quote-unquote nappy, as some people want to call it, or kinky, as some people want to call it, because black women's hair is the most beautiful hair that exists in the world, because you have so many ways of working with that hair that no other woman on this earth can make her hairstyle that way. I've done videos on that before, and I have to do a video on it again, because of course the channel that I had those videos on are all gone. All that work is, in limbo now. But I showed many videos where you have basically your hair is your canvas. You can make your hair any style you want, and you should be proud to have hairstyles that no other woman on this earth can rock. And even when they try to rock it, they can't rock it like you, because you are the originator of these particular hairstyles and this beauty. So we definitely need to teach our young black, female children at a very, very early age, that they should never be ashamed of their hair, because if they're not told this in an early age, they're going to think that they're ugly. They're going to think that they need to have the same hair as these white girls have. They want to have their hair straight. And you can have your hair straight if you want to, but these girls should never be ashamed to have their hair in its natural state. And that's all I'm telling you. People keep forgetting that this is the future of the black community right here. These are future mothers of the black community right here. And we need to care about them just as much as we care about what's going on with us presently right now. Okay? We need to have black schools that teach about the entirety, the vastness of the black diaspora, of the African diaspora. We need to talk about every single place where black people are the dominant people. Africa, Jamaica, all these different African countries that we have. We need to talk about the history of the African people as well as the history of the African American. We need to talk about our history, everybody's history who looks like us. We need to have some sort of communication with these children that we can teach them at an early age, that just because someone lives in another country and they may be black does not mean that they can't be your friend. We have to understand that ultimately uniting with everybody who is in the melanated nation will ultimately give us the power that we need to move on. But we can also get our power from each other that lives right here in this country, right here in the States, as we try to take our own steps to make our community better. That means start giving our money to the community and stop giving it to the enemy. Because all you're doing, see, the thing that I've said so many times and that people agree with me, and then some people just still don't get because they want to stay asleep, is the fact that you may think that you're not a slave, but you're a slave in your mind, and you're also still a slave when you work. Because back in the days of slavery, you worked on the fields and you picked the cotton for massa, okay, and you didn't get paid. You got raped and you got fed a little bit here and there, okay. They only fed you a little bit because they want you to keep on moving so you can keep on doing work for them while they sat on their ass and did nothing, okay. Now, in our present day, you work for them and they pay you. That's the only difference. Some of you don't even get paid what you're worth, but you still work for these people anyway. Think about that shit. It's almost like indentured servants. Telling you. And like I said before about the interracial dating, these people would rape black men and black women alike, as well as black children. But now you freely give yourselves to these people and still try to convince other black people that these people are the best choice for you, because other black people don't want to commit to you. They don't want to have a meaningful relationship. You can only find a meaningful and fruitful relationship with someone who's white. You have got to be one of the most craziest and one of the most mind-fucked people I've ever seen or heard of if you think that those people, even in present day now, when you see the same things happening now, okay? Maybe not on the grandest scale, but still happening every single day. And you tell other black women and other black men that these people are your better choice. You are fucking brain dead. That's all I can tell you. If we have schools where black children learn their history, learn about themselves, and learn to love themselves, and learn that we have different shades of black people, we can also wipe out the colorism. Wipe out colorism if we can. Because when you teach these children early on that because this person is lighter than you or this person is darker than you, it doesn't make them any less black or any less, or it doesn't. I'm gonna tell you like this in the simplest terms because I'm talking too fast and I'm getting tongue tied right now. If someone is less, darker than you, it doesn't make them any less blacker than you. Okay, and if someone is darker and you're lighter than them, that doesn't mean that you're less black than they are. We need to teach children about this colorism thing too, because colorism is a bad thing that is in the black community, and it has been in the black community for a long time, and we picked it up from the slave masters, and many of us still practice it to this day. You see black men who most dark-skinned men will be with light-skinned black women, okay? So it still happens here. And I've seen some black, very dark-skinned women be with some very light-skinned black men as well. So it happens, okay? Colorism is a real thing that most women talk about. I really don't try to get into it because it's more of a thing that women deal with more. But that's something that if we have our own schools, we could teach our children about that as well. So it's something that's very important that needs to be talked about and teach to our children. And even if you don't want to teach them in school, you could teach them at home about this. See, the thing with schools for black children, they wouldn't stop learning at school. They would learn at home as well. Their home will be their second school because, like I said in the beginning of this video, you are the one that they emulate the most. You are the one that is ultimately their first, foremost teacher. Parents, the mother and the father. Need to teach these kids about Egypt. Need to teach these kids about the Egyptians and about black kings and black queens and how we ruled and stuff like that and what we contribute to society. We need to teach our children stuff like that so that they can feel good about themselves. You seen how happy these kids were when they went to go see Black Panther, when they found they were going to see the Black Panther. I know how many of you feel about the Black Panther. There's divided. Some of you love the movie just for being a movie. Other people analyze it for the mixed message that it has because it does have mixed messages. Okay? But you see how happy these kids were to see stuff like that? If you teach, they took pride in that. To see a black man as their hero, even though he's not the hero, Killmonger's a hero, but still, you know what I mean. If you get kids early on, teach them about themselves, teach them about their history, they will love themselves, they will have more confidence in themselves, they will believe more in themselves, and have peace of mind, and have love of self, and nobody will be able to tear them down. And when you have a black child like that, especially if it's a black man, a black male child, society's not going to like that. You know what society I'm talking about, too. So that's why having black schools is a dangerous thing to them. They don't want that to be. They don't want people like Umar Johnson or other people that want to open up schools exclusively for black children, even though they probably will welcome white children as well. But those white children will learn about black people, okay, and black history. They don't want those kind of schools to open up because those schools are dangerous to them and to their existence. Okay, because once a black person is awakened, like many black people are awakening now since 2016, mostly 2017 with this Trump era beginning and stuff and still going on now, there are black people waking up and not taking this shit anymore. They're speaking out against this shit. They're being shut down on YouTube and other venues, but they're still speaking out and they're not turning the other cheek anymore. All that shit about marching and forgiving is not happening anymore. Only ones who are still practicing that are the people who want to be with their oppressors. The people that want to break free of their oppressors and want to have their own, community that flourishes and progresses are not dealing with this shit anymore. They're not taking it. They're loving themselves enough to say, fuck this. We've had enough of this shit. And we learned about our history. We learned about ourselves. And we don't love you more than we love ourselves. We love ourselves more and you come after. And when you have a love for yourself, especially as a black person, and you start feeling like you want to unite with other black people and you want to make a difference, that's a danger to that society. That's a danger to our enemies, to those people. So this is just a little video I want to do for you guys. Hopefully you got something out of it and you understand what I'm trying to tell you. I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I am a bit smart, I would say. I think I'm fairly smart. So anyway, thank you for watching this video, and I will talk to you next time. Thank you for watching the other videos on the channel as well, supporting the channel. Thank you very much, and I will talk to you soon. Please take care of yourself. I'm out.